Good morning, America. For our viewers in the West, the urgent warning as dangerous winds return to Southern California, plus the clock ticking on TikTok and a wild weekend on the football field. Crews racing to gain an upper hand on the raging California wildfires with an unprecedented air assault as the extreme winds return. The Palisades fire spinning up a firenado as authorities investigate what may have sparked the blazes.
I need you to come out here right now. We have a very big problem.
What? This doorbell camera part of the search for answers into the Eaton fire, as new images show some neighborhoods left completely in ruins.
This house has survived 110 years.
Authorities warning looters they will face prosecution, while thousands come together to help those in need. A racetrack parking lot turned into a massive donation center. Our team is live across the fire zone with the latest.
Cabinet picks take center stage on Capitol Hill. President-elect Trump's pick for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth set to kick off a busy week of confirmation hearings as he faces questions about his experience and personal life. New alert about the quad-demic, with ER visits for flu, COVID, norovirus, and RSV surging. Some hospitals strained.
Time's up on TikTok? With the Supreme Court ruling looming and less than a week until the ban takes effect, what it means for the more than 100 million users in the U.S.
And a thrilling wild card finish.
The Washington Commanders off the upright, and it is in!
Superstar rookie Jaden Daniels all smiles after commanding Washington to their first playoff win in 19 years. And they're just, joshing around in Buffalo.
So now he's got to throw it deep to the end zone. And is that caught? Yes!
A big win for the Bills. And you have to see what the fans did for Josh Allen. No way.
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good morning, America.
We appreciate you joining us on this Monday morning, and we want to get right to our top story, of course, the very latest developments on the wildfires in California, how neighbors are banding together. Take a closer look at this racetrack parking lot turned into a massive donation center.
Sometimes the worst of times bring out the best of us, and that is good to see. But this map shows where all the fires are burning across Los Angeles. The two big ones, they are still the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire. Firefighters are battling the flames from the air as they try to contain as much as possible before the wind kicks up again.
Yeah, there is concern now about the return of the Santa Ana winds as the search for the missing intensifies and the death toll has risen to 24 people. The head of a major private power company will join us live. His company is facing questions about its electrical equipment, possibly sparking some of the fires. We have team coverage all over the fire zones. Ginger is standing by with a red flag warning from the National Weather Service that is expected to last until Wednesday. And we start with Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman in Pacific Palisades. Good morning, Matt.
George, good morning. 8 million people in Southern California this morning facing that critical fire risk, that 75-mile-per-hour wind gust concerning to the National Weather Service. They're calling this a particularly dangerous situation, the same designation that they gave the event last week. Right now you can see the folks at Fire Station 69 opening their doors this morning. They've been exhausted after being on the line for over a week, but they're getting massive reinforcements in terms of personnel and equipment now.
This morning, exhausted fire crews trying to snuff out remaining hot spots as officials are bracing for those Santa Ana wind gusts today, expected to reach 70 miles an hour.
Go, go, go.
Over the weekend, the Palisades fire again flaring up, this time near Mandeville Canyon, the fire encroaching on Brentwood and Encino, triggering an unprecedented air assault. The largest blaze, the Palisades fire, scorching nearly 24,000 acres with only 13% containment. And that fire spinning up a firenado, and reinforcements pouring in from both Mexico and Canada, deploying fire crews and equipment, specifically those large air tankers. But FEMA saying there are limits to that air support.
We're also talking about a very small space from the air, and we got to make sure that those aircraft are safe. They can only put so much in the air at that one time.
This is authorities in LA County are now investigating the possible causes of the fire.
Hey, babe, I need you to come out here right now. We have a very big problem.
What?
Doorbell camera and cell phone video from Jeffrey and Cheryl Koo showing the frantic moments when they say they saw this small fire near their Altadena house at around 6:19 p.m. Tuesday.
Oh. At that time, that when we saw it, it was just at the base of the tower. And within minutes, it had spread.
The Koos racing outside, filming what they saw in those terrifying moments, and look closely beyond the tree line. That's a transmission tower.
What did it feel like?
It was a nightmare, and I think the worst part was every time I checked on the fire, it got worse.
And minute by minute, they watched the fire grow. Nearby, Jennifer Errico says she saw what appears to be fire at the base of that same transmission tower at about 6:20 p.m., snapping this picture.
My husband had come home from work and he ran in the house and just started screaming, "There's a fire on the hill, we need to get out." I ran out back, saw the fire at the poles. I immediately called 911.
The winds quickly stoking the fire into an inferno, turning the night sky orange. And at 6:24 p.m., a third resident, Pedro Rojas, taking video of the flames near that electrical tower.
That was the only flames you saw anywhere around?
Anywhere around. There were no other fire, no flames anywhere around because it was so dark that if there were some flames in other places, we have noticed it.
On Sunday, we traveled to that Altadena neighborhood to get a closer look.
So Eaton Canyon is below me, and right there is that transmission tower that the Koos say they saw the fire burning initially. It may be one of several, or the first place where the fire started, but that's the tower, at least in the video.
Fire officials telling ABC News they are aware of the videos and that they are part of the investigation. Southern California Edison says while the Eaton fire started in its service area, a preliminary analysis shows no interruptions or electrical or operational anomalies until more than an hour after the reported start time of the fire. The company also says no fire agency has suggested that its equipment caused the Eaton fire to ignite.
Now, 24 people have lost their lives in this fire. We now understand that the ATF is investigating the Palisades fire here. And one of the factors that they will examine, we understand, is arson. That is, Governor Gavin Newsom has demanded an independent investigation into the water issues here in the Palisades, those hydrants running dry. He called it deeply disturbing. George.
Okay, Matt, questions about power companies as well. And the head of the private power company, Edison International, is going to join us live in our next half hour, and the investigation into the fires.
Because there are so many questions that folks have. Well, Ginger is here now with more on the extreme fire danger and those high winds that are coming.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that we've got 3 days of red flag warnings. Part of that is a particularly dangerous situation red flag warning. Now, that's something that usually gets issued every 5 to 10 years. We've had 4 now of these PDS red flag warnings this year alone. This setup is different. It's going to impact different areas. It's because we've got this upper level support to the Santa Ana winds that's going to kind of fuel them and make them faster. So those offshore winds are going to kick up, especially western Santa Monica Mountains there, Thousand Oaks to San Fernando and north. I'll get into who exactly, but those red flag warnings still through Wednesday go all the way down to the Mexican border. Now, if you are in the areas highlighted here, I-5 up to close to the Grapevine, Fillmore, San Fernando, and the Santa Monicas there, north and west of Malibu. That's where the worst wind is expected from Tuesday morning through noon on Wednesday. We're talking gusts up to 70 miles per hour, the humidity as low as 8 to 15%. We thought we'd take it through the timeline, but even this afternoon, Robin, you've got it through 11 a.m. here in the 40s, 50s. Yeah. And this is the type, you ask how, the air support gets shut down. After 30 miles per hour, the water and the retardant doesn't, it's not efficient enough, let alone safe enough for the firefighters and people below. So.
People have to keep all that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, Ginger, thank you. And we'll let people know that authorities are warning looters looking to take advantage of the disaster. They will be prosecuted. But we're also seeing so many people come together to help and lift each other up. Kana Whitworth is at Santa Anita Park with more on that. Good morning to you, Kana.
Yeah, Robin, good morning to you. It's truly remarkable here. This entire parking lot is full of much needed donations here in this grassroots effort to help people who have lost everything. And in some cases, everyone they know also lost everything. And authorities say for anyone looking to take advantage of this situation, they will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. This morning, the Los Angeles County Sheriff with an urgent warning to people who are taking advantage of a desperate situation.
Don't do it. Whether it is burglary, looting, or any other crime, whether it's a scam of some kind that you're conjuring up to make money off of the poor people that have been involved in this.
Officials warning burglars, looters, and scammers that they will be prosecuted if they take advantage of people who've been through this tragedy. A curfew order has been established from dusk till dawn in the affected fire zones to protect homes. Authorities increasing patrols and deploying the National Guard to assist. One suspect arrested after they were caught burglarizing a home in Malibu, disguised as a firefighter. The FBI now investigating the drone that collided with the Super Scooper aircraft while it was delivering desperately needed water to the Palisades fire. It will be back in operation today after this hole was punctured in it. Officials warning the public not to fly drones.
This is extremely illegal and extremely dangerous.
But also the best of humanity in Santa Anita Park. Thousands coming together to help those in need.
We are giving away free food.
It all started with a TikTok gaining thousands of views. Jerry Martinez, Juan Diaz, and Jimmy Medina simply wanted to give out food in their community. But their efforts inspiring others, and now turning this racetrack parking lot into a massive donation center.
Recently, we've been having so many donations from all over the state. We have wheelchairs, we have coffee pots, we have blankets, we have clothes, we have essentials, hygiene packs. The support from the community has been really, really, really moving.
Now, Alex also shared with me that in some cases, some people show up at this donation site to get things and they don't even have a bag to take it home with them. That's the amount of loss that they're dealing with here. Now, there's already volunteers and those in need on site. They had about 1,000 people out here yesterday, and they expect more of the same today. George.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to go to Washington now. And confirmation hearings set to begin tomorrow morning for President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees, including Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, Pam Bondi for Attorney General, Kristi Noem for Homeland Security, Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott is tracking it all from Capitol Hill. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, George, good morning to you. It is a big week here on Capitol Hill. There are 14 Senate confirmation hearings this week alone, starting with Pete Hegseth. That is Trump's choice to lead the Defense Department. He will come before the Armed Services Committee tomorrow. The former Fox News host still fending off a slew of allegations from financial mismanagement, sexual misconduct to alcohol abuse, all allegations that he strongly denies. Sources tell ABC News that as part of his background check, the FBI has questioned Hegseth, as well as others in his personal life about some of those very allegations. President-elect Donald Trump was here on Capitol Hill just days ago. He met with Republicans behind closed doors, urging his party to really rally behind his picks and making a very special and personal appeal for Hegseth, I am told. Many of those nominees have participated in mock hearings with Senate Republicans here on Capitol Hill, really trying to avoid any surprises once they get into that hot seat. Of course, President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration is now just 1 week away, Rebecca.
It is right around the corner. Okay, Rachel, thank you. Also happening right now is that showdown over TikTok. A federal ban could go into effect one day before President-elect Trump takes office, and we want to bring in Elizabeth Schulze with more on that, what this ban would mean for users. Good morning,
and the
Rachel.
Supreme Court, good morning, Rebecca. You know, the Supreme Court really does look likely to uphold this ban across the country. So what that would mean, it's not necessarily going to disappear from your phone. TikTok's lawyer says the app will go dark. But what you think about what that means, there's two ways this law works. One is that app stores like Apple's and Google Play won't allow new downloads or software updates, so it will eventually get glitchy and not really work for you. The second way is that internet companies might have to stop storing TikTok's data. If that does happen, you really wouldn't be able to see an updated feed, and you probably wouldn't be able to post either.
But there are some technical details here that are loopholes for people, Elizabeth.
Exactly. Really important to know that you can keep posting, trying to use TikTok. You are not a criminal. This is not illegal for users. The tech companies are the ones that could face billions in dollars in fines if they do keep trying to allow those downloads or those updates. You know, we already seeing some users on TikTok post about workarounds like virtual private networks, VPNs. This is a way that you can basically mask your location. You might have done this in the past if you're in another country, try to access a U.S. show or a website, go through another website. And ultimately, what could happen here is we could see the Supreme Court put an administrative hold on this law. That could essentially buy a couple weeks, maybe months, for the Trump administration to find another solution, it's vowing to try to save this app somehow.
Likely going to get messy, no matter how
no
it gets
question,
played
and
out.
no clear solution about how exactly it'll stick around.
Thank you, Elizabeth. And Elizabeth will be back with our new series, Financial Detox, starting this morning with ways to tackle your debt. A lot of people thinking about that at the beginning of the year, Robin.
That's right, Rebecca. But now the opening of the NFL playoffs with Wild Card Weekend, and wild indeed, wasn't it, Lara?
Perfect word, Robin. Good morning to you all. It is one of the most exciting weekends on the NFL calendar. It ended with a thriller in Tampa last night, and it's not over yet with one more wild card matchup tonight.
In the end, it all came down to a doink.
The Washington Commanders off the upright, and it is in! They doink their way to the divisional round! Unbelievable!
With the game tied, 2020, Commanders rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels driving his team down the field, leaving it all up to kicker Zane Gonzalez. At first, Gonzalez booted the 37-yard field goal attempt off the upright, but then the ball bounced through, giving Washington its first playoff victory since 2006.
Can't put words to it. I just got to credit my team and God.
Earlier in the day, the Eagles flying high. Philadelphia getting star quarterback Jalen Hurts back after being out due to concussion protocol.
For the touchdown!
The Eagles dominating Green Bay. Philly wide receiver A.J. Brown even taking a moment to squeeze in some light reading.
I haven't seen too many people read books.
The Eagles and running back Saquon Barkley sliding into the next round.
He's going to take a slide. A year ago, I put a tweet when I was on my couch watching playoff football that I got to find a way to get back in it.
The Buffalo Bills also moving on to the divisional round after crushing the Broncos 31-7.
Ty Johnson scrapes it off the ground.
And this sweet moment, the Bills' Damar Hamlin, who survived a life-threatening cardiac arrest just 2 years ago, celebrating Sunday's big win with the Bills Mafia. And one Buffalo citizen commemorating their quarterback with this intricate snow statue of Josh Allen.
Nicely done. And on Saturday, the Ravens cruised past the Steelers, setting up a quarterback matchup for the ages, with Baltimore's Lamar Jackson going head-to-head with Buffalo's Josh Allen next Sunday, January 19th. And there is one more deciding game, as we mentioned, tonight. The Vikings facing off against the L.A. Rams right here on ABC and ESPN. Somebody's excited. That game, by the way, originally scheduled, everybody, to be played in L.A., but because of the ongoing wildfires, it was relocated to Arizona. The Rams players, coach, and staff will wear custom Los Angeles Fire Department shirts. There they are. The Rams owner, Stan Kroenke, donated $1 million to the LA Fire Department Foundation.
So many people are stepping up and doing what they can.
Needed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lara. And coming up, the head of a major LA private power company is facing questions about his company's possible role in igniting two fires. We're going to talk to him.
And the new CDC warning, at least 35 states are now reporting respiratory illness at high or very high levels. We're going to break down what you can do to help protect your family.
And Will has some good news about two young athletes. Hey, Will.
I do, Rebecca. Good morning. Coming up, you're going to meet two of the Special Olympics athletes who are getting a huge surprise from their favorite players in the NFL. One of these kids might even be taking my job. We will explain in just a bit.
Have you seen the pygmy hippo, Poppy? Her cuteness is breaking the internet, and this morning we have exclusive news on Poppy. We'll be right back.
I'm going home.
Such beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voices. That is the Los Angeles Choir. When the Altadena Community Church was destroyed by the Eaton Fire, members of the Pasadena Chorale were displaced. Many also lost their homes and were living with family or friends, and that's when a nearby community stepped in to help. The Church of the Brethren in Laverne, 30 miles to the east, offered their space. The choir finding their voice again, a phrase they use, we take strength from each other.
And they are lovely voices. Following a lot of headlines right now, including ceasefire talks heating up in Doha as President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu amid a new push to strike a deal before the Trump inauguration a week from today. The president delivers his final foreign policy speech today, expected to say his administration strengthened America's ties with allies. Also right now, school officials in Connecticut report measurable improvements in students' grades, attendance, and behavior after a cell phone ban took effect.
And overnight, a setback for Blue Origin, the space tech company founded by Jeff Bezos, delayed the launch of New Glenn, set to be the first rocket from the company to reach orbit. We've also got a lot more ahead, including the surge in respiratory viruses. That is coming up, something a lot of parents are thinking about right now.
Yeah, so Dr. Darian Sutton's going to be along with that. But right now, we want to go back to Matt Gutman in Pacific Palisades for the latest on the wildfires. Good morning again, Matt.
Robin, good morning. Over 8 million people in Southern California facing this critical fire danger this morning. The National Weather Service predicting those wind gusts of over 70 miles per hour, giving it this rare designation of a particularly dangerous situation. The same designation we saw last week. And you can see the firefighters behind me at Station 69 getting ready. They have been exhausted, depleted, but they've had massive reinforcements over the weekend in terms of personnel and equipment. And you saw that huge air attack on the fire, various aircraft swooping in through the valleys, dumping fire retardant and water. That as fire authorities also continue to investigate the cause of the Eaton fire off of Altadena. Now, we have seen doorbell video and cell phone video of a fire at the base of those electrical transmission towers. Edison International, the company that runs those towers, has said there were no anomalies at this point. That is, we've learned that the ATF is now investigating the fire here in the Palisades, and one of the factors they are examining is arson. Governor Gavin Newsom also calling for an investigation into water shortages here. George.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Let's bring in Pedro Pizarro, President and CEO of Edison International. It's the parent company in Southern California. Edison, thanks for joining us this morning, sir. And let's begin with what Matt was just talking about right there. What can you tell us about any possible connection between your equipment and that Eaton fire?
Well, George, thanks for having me on. And let me just start by saying our hearts go out to everybody who's been impacted. My wife and I have lived in the Pasadena area for almost 37 years, so this is home. And a big thank you to all the firefighters and first responders and our workers who've been on the job. What we reported in an incident report to our state commission was that we were aware first of attorneys who asked for evidence preservation and media attention, but at that point, we had not seen any evidence on our system of electrical anomalies, electrical disturbance. Typically, when there's a spark created by equipment, you will see that kind of electrical anomaly. We haven't seen that. That said, we have not been able to get up close to the equipment yet because firefighters have not deemed the area safe for entry. So we'll, as soon as we can get close to it, we'll inspect and we'll be transparent with the public.
So you haven't ruled out a connection?
You can't rule out anything ever until you can get your eyes on the equipment. Certainly, we've seen the photos and the videos. But again, at this point, we have not seen the kind of electrical anomaly that you would usually see with an event like this. But again, we may find something different. So we want to inspect. We want assistance from investigators, and then we want to be transparent with the public.
You also filed an incident report about downed equipment in the area of the Hearst fire. Any connection between that downed equipment and the Hearst fire?
Well, we don't know yet. We did say that we saw damage to the equipment, but we did notice that the reported start time of that fire was 10:10 p.m. We first saw an electrical anomaly in our system at 10:11 p.m. And so with that being so close in time, we don't know whether the damage happened before or after the start of the fire.
Should you have shut off power earlier?
We have a rigorous program for shutting off power, and shutting off power comes with risks and consequences too. It's a big challenge for our customers. But we operate under a wildfire mitigation plan that is approved by our commission. There's oversight from a state office of energy infrastructure safety. We did very extensive power shutoffs throughout this event. And in fact, I want to say thank you to the customers who've been impacted by that, because that's a hardship for them. At a peak between public safety power shutoffs and other outages, we had over 500,000 customers out. Most of those have been restored now. We still have about 34,000 customers out from this last windstorm, and about 23,000 of those are from public safety power shutoffs. But we know there's another wind system that's picking up here, so we have about 450,000 customers who we've warned that they may need to have their power shut off.
That's what I was going to ask you about. So you've just warned them so far. You haven't shut off the power about this new red flag warning?
That's correct. That's correct. And there's protocols that we have. We have team monitoring 24/7, both looking at telemetry from, wind speed meters, other information. We have ice on the ground. And again, it's a protocol that we've established with our state regulators to make sure we have a responsible use of public safety power shutoffs.
Okay, Mr. Pizarro.
And I'll say, LA County Chief Marone said that these help save lives.
Thank goodness for that. And thank you for your time.
And now to the growing nationwide threat of respiratory viruses and the CDC issuing a warning. 35 states now reporting high levels. Medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton is here to break this down for us because you are, as we said, an ER physician. So tell us what you are seeing and hearing and why this season is so concerning.
Yeah, I've been in the emergency room for the past couple of weeks up until this weekend, and I've been seeing these rising rates rise in real time. I'm testing for multiple diseases, COVID, flu, RSV, and I have to say that the majority of the test results that I'm getting back from my patients are influenza A, and that's reflected in what we're seeing across the nation. If you can look at these numbers, an estimated 5.3 million cases of flu so far, 63,000 hospitalizations, and almost 3,000 deaths. Now, this is not nearly as high as we've seen in terms of the total of last year, and we haven't seen yet the peak, but we're not sure yet exactly when that peak will be, but what we are clear about is that we need to be proactive in preventing.
What kind of a strain is this putting on the hospitals now?
Incredible strain, George. When we talk about flu, COVID, RSV, norovirus, we're talking about those infections as well as other common emergencies, heart attacks, strokes, car accidents. And so this puts a strain in terms of the ability to treat all of these patients and also space. And it becomes incredibly difficult each and every day as we march toward that peak.
Every parent knows the strain of this as well.
Yeah.
Some of the latest deaths, tragically, 2 children in Chicago recently died of the flu. What more can families be doing to protect themselves?
We always hope that those numbers remain low. And when we talk about prevention, we focus on the most effective forms, talking about vaccinations. In past years, 80% of children who died from the flu were unvaccinated. So it's an important reminder, if you haven't done so already, it's still okay to get vaccinated. Typically, the flu season extends into May, and so now it's still an okay time, if not today, then tomorrow. And then basic mitigation efforts, wearing a mask, washing our hands, and cleaning high-touch surfaces is so important this time of year.
And can you tell us the symptoms and treatment when it comes to the norovirus?
Yeah, norovirus is that virus that causes nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Patients often come in with the inability to hold in food, and we're treating them supportively while also managing their other chronic diseases. In terms of prevention, this is something I advise all patients and families. When you get home, it's so important to continue to clean with some part bleach, especially those high-touch surfaces. And remember that norovirus is resistant against hand sanitizer, so it's so important to make sure that we're continuing to wash our hands with soap and water during this time of year.
I've never heard that before. Norovirus resistant to hand sanitizer?
Yeah, it's a tough bug, and it's one of the reasons why we've seen close to 91 outbreaks this year, 30 more outbreaks than we saw this time last year. It's completely resistant against hand sanitizer, so that's why soap and water is so important.
Very, very important stuff. We're spraying down all the handles in our house right now and the lights and everything too. Thank you, Dr. Darian, as always.
Now with our play of the day honoring 2 super kids with a big football surprise. And Will, please share this story with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that playing sports is so good for development, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of that. And for the second year in a row, the NFL has teamed up with Special Olympics to name 2 athletes as NFL Play 60 Super Kids. It's the league's youth, health, and wellness initiative. It encourages kids to get active for at least 60 minutes a day and live a healthy lifestyle. Now check out these special moments when this year's Super Kids ambassadors get the good news from their favorite players. That's Tyler Boyd of Florida, hearing that he is going to the Pro Bowl in Orlando, and he got that news shared by his favorite player, the Colts' Kenny Moore II. Love to see that.
Yeah, I would love to see that, and love seeing this from my beloved Saints. They got in on the act as well.
Yes, they did. That's Hayes Audler is the name. He's from Louisiana, and he is going to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. This is Hayes getting the news from the Saints' Cam Jordan. What a moment for him. And Hayes is going to have to work a little bit at the Super Bowl because we can reveal here he will be GMA's kid correspondent at the Super Bowl. So we cannot wait to see Hayes in action. Speaking of action, both Tyler and Hayes actively play United Flag football. They're staying active. Congrats to them, and Hayes will see you at the Super Bowl.
You're going to have to give him some tips.
Yeah, I'll try my best. They're usually better than I am. I'm like, I don't know. You do what you want.
They ask great questions, don't they? All right. Thanks so much. Coming up, Brooke Shields is here live in Times Square.
Good morning, America. It's 8 a.m.
crews racing to gain an upper hand on the raging California wildfires with an unprecedented air assault. As the extreme winds return, the Palisades fire spinning up a firenado. As authorities investigate what may have sparked the blazes, while thousands come together to help those in need, our team is live across the fire zone.
Financial Detox. This week, we're helping you get your money in shape for the new year. Starting with tackling your debt, getting your credit score up, and finding the right credit card for you. Wild new edition. The big announcement about the pygmy hippo stealing the internet's heart. Only on GMA this morning.
And Brooke Shields in a new era and live in Times Square. Why her book is more than a memoir. Plus the #1 rule she has about giving advice. As she's saying,
"Good morning, America."
Live from Times Square, it's Monday. Good morning, America.
Good morning, Brooke Shields.
We love her.
We do love her. We're so glad she's here to talk about her book.
Okay, and it's called Brooke Shields is Not Allowed to Get Old. We're so looking forward to that conversation.
I can't wait to hear what she has to say about giving advice. I think that's going to be interesting. Also ahead, do not miss the announcement about Poppy. That is a live look at the baby pygmy hippo who's stolen our hearts and now rules social media. Yes, she's got a big Instagram account, and we're going to talk to her and the Richmond Zoo director. That is coming up.
First, of course, look at the top stories breaking today. We start with the latest developments on the wildfires in California. High winds are picking up again. I want to go to Matt Rivers in Altadena. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. Yeah, law enforcement, fire officials have the horrific task of now having to perform grid searches to see if they can find human remains as people remain missing. Not only in homes across Altadena that have burned, but also in businesses like this one. This was a grocery store. This is the kind of place also that firefighters will have to go through this as we are expecting those winds to pick back up. As the death toll rises this morning, the search for the missing amidst the devastation intensifying.
Our Los Angeles County Fire Department using cadaver dogs doing grid searches. I don't expect good news from those.
The death toll now at least 24. Among the casualties, Altadena residents Victor Shaw, Anthony Mitchell, and his son Justin Mitchell, and 84-year-old Charles Mortimer. Officials urging some residents to resist going back home.
A lot of these areas still look like they were hit by a bomb. There are live electrical wires, gas lines, and other hazards.
Many just looking for answers, like Ron McCord, who'd fled the Eaton fire without knowing if his house was okay.
We talked to the police. They said nobody's going through. We saw you guys, and we thought, oh my gosh, maybe they can help.
Unable to pass through police checkpoints, he asked us to go check for him.
Yeah, it's totally, this is their house. They told us there were stones in front. There was a street sign in front. This is 100% it. And by the looks of it, it's totally gone. There's the remains of a garage in the back there, but the house part here, and they told me they had stone steps in the front. It's totally gone.
So we walked back down and showed Ron what happened, recording with his permission.
This house has survived 110 years.
What's going through your mind as you see this?
It's just my worst fears are confirmed, and it's just sadness.
Ron's story repeated thousands of times over amidst an avalanche of tragedy here. But this morning, there is good news, too.
I looked to my side, and the dog was seated with its tail between its legs, just curled in the corner of the front yard.
Firefighter Slater Lee from San Marcos, California, fighting the flames, holding a fire hose in one hand while at the same time comforting the stranded dog with the other and getting him safely out of the burning neighborhood.
I was able to scratch his head there for a little bit, and it was a special moment, something that I'll cherish forever.
And Lee stressed to us that he is just a part of a team. It was a team effort, not something solo. As soon as we were done talking to him, he actually had to go back out to the front lines on yet another 24-hour shift. Robin?
They have been so relentless in fighting this. Matt, thank you. Thanks so much. We're going to bring back Ginger with more on the fire forecast. Ginger?
Yeah, Robin, more than 8 million people find themselves in a critical fire danger today, 750,000 in the extreme fire danger. So let me break this down, because this event's going to be different than last week, but they still worry about explosive fire behavior and growth. And that's why we're looking at the upper atmosphere. So this is a 500 millibar, we call it. But basically, at the ground, you got Santa Anas that come over the mountains. They're offshore. This will enhance it between that low and the high, and there's actually a low farther southwest. That is going to give it a little bit more oomph, and that is not what you want. That's why it's a particularly dangerous situation red flag warning, something they usually see every 5 to 10 years. This is the 4th one the National Weather Service in Los Angeles has issued this season. So the concern is Tuesday morning through Wednesday noon for the areas you see. I-5 close to the Grapevine, from where the Hearst fire was, and it has been mostly contained there, San Fernando, Simi Valley, back to Fillmore, Ventura, and then the Santa Monica Mountains just north and west of that Pacific Palisades fire that is still burning. So outside of there, you'll still have big gusty winds. That's why red flag warnings are all the way down to the Mexican border. But we put a couple of stops here. This is noon today. Fillmore could have gusts upwards of 40, 50, and some places will go up to 70 miles per hour in that Tuesday through Wednesday noon time period. So that's why we stopped it here. Even Tuesday, 11 a.m., Santa Clarita has those big gusts. Explosive fire growth is the concern through Wednesday, Rebecca.
Just so much for the people who live there and the first responders to handle. Okay, Ginger, thank you. Also this morning, we are remembering someone who so many of us grew up watching every day. Leslie Charlson appeared on General Hospital longer than anyone. She started playing Monica Quartermain in 1977, a doctor who is often in the middle of love triangles and over-the-top drama. Charlson got her start in soap operas in 1964. She also made guest appearances on series including Happy Days, The Rockford Files, and played herself in an episode of Friends. You probably saw that one, Robin.
I did.
General Hospital's executive producer called her a beloved matriarch of the entire cast and crew. Leslie Charlson was 79 years old. I remember watching her with my mom when I was homesick from school. She let me watch it when I was homesick from school.
Okay, so I'm going to age myself. I remember scheduling my college classes around.
Oh my goodness!
So I could watch General Hospital. Come on.
Well, we were doing the same thing. We were just sitting in different places.
At least
you didn't skip class.
I didn't skip class. Coming up on our GMA morning menu, we are kicking off our new series, Financial Detox, to help get your money in order for the new year. First up, Rebecca and Elizabeth are going to break down ways to tackle debt starting this morning, Rebecca.
Also, Robin, the beloved baby pygmy hippo Poppy. We have an exclusive announcement for the new herd of hippo fans out there.
Plus, Larry Bergamato is here highlighting the top trends in hobbies to keep busy during the winter months. And Larry's upstairs with 2 special guests.
I am. I'm having such a good time, George. You know one of them. You know this lady, but we do have 2 fantastic ladies here. Gina Rodriguez, Brooke Shields in the house. And George, Brooke has something to tell you.
Well, I was upset that you didn't jump out of the cake last night. George, I brought this beautiful mermaid-themed cake.
Yeah,
and I thought,
Allie's
here it
birthday.
comes.
You missed it.
Yeah, jump out.
Finally, we're about to see it.
You were asleep.
Bed by 8. Bed by 8.
Anyway, more of this coming up on GMA, everyone.
As Ginger said, kind of a mild morning here in Times Square. And all month long, we're helping you start the new year strong with tips on everything from revamping your workouts to organizing your home. Want to go to Rebecca and Elizabeth right now.
Yes, George. Right now, we're going to get to our cover story, starting strong with revamping your finances. We're kicking off our financial detox series this morning, tackling debt in the new year. Elizabeth Schulze is back. It's so nice to see you again, Elizabeth. And a lot of people, they think about the new year as a reset as far as their finances go. If you're trying to really pay down a fixed amount, and we're going with 2025 here because it's the year 2025, what should we do?
Okay, so we've taken this amount, $2,025, and it can be so daunting to pay off credit card debt right now. We know interest rates are really high, 20%, credit card debt overall at an all-time high. So we've taken this lump sum, assuming that stays 2025. What we're gonna do is just choose a fixed amount every month that you wanna pay off. For that amount, it's $187 a month. That helps, look at it monthly if you pay that, and that amount, $187, includes your interest. If you pay that every month now through December, that $2,025 in debt is gonna go away. Still kind of seems like a lot, right? But when you look at this every day and you have our small bucket here, $6 a day is all you need really to pay off that full amount in a year. The takeaway from this is If you set a daily target and really stick to it, that's how you're going to get that credit card debt to go away within 1 year.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of research about the psychological boost of getting rid of that debt. So if you really start by targeting a fixed amount and feel that win, it's win behind your sales.
Start small and work your way up.
Exactly. Okay, we're getting a lot of questions on this as well from our viewers, and a big topic that can affect getting a good rate for any kind of loan to help with your debt is your credit score, and we have a question about that.
My name is Courtney, and I would like to know some easy tips and tricks to fixing my credit score this year.
And Courtney, this is such an important one because your credit score really does affect everything when it comes to an ability to take out a loan, a small business loan, a home loan, a car loan. So one thing you can do right now today for free is check your credit report for any mistakes.
Yes.
Go online to annualcreditreport.com. I just tried it. It's going to take about 5 minutes. You enter your personal information. It'll run a credit report on you and see if there are any errors on there. I found one from my own account, and it immediately you can dispute it online, and that will boost your credit score almost instantly. If you are trying to build up credit for the first time, one thing to think about is there a program that can take a more holistic look at your spending history? So Experian Boost is an example of this. Typically on your credit report, things like if you're paying for streaming or for your cell phone bill, even rent, if you're paying those on time, that doesn't really count towards your credit score. But if you use a program like Experian Boost, that says it can boost that by looking broadly, and it'll add about 13 points on average, it says, to your score.
Well, and you've also been talking about the fact that healthcare debt is no longer going to be an impact on credit scores, so that also should have an impact in the year ahead. Another thing people are looking at this time of year is credit cards, because they're not all created equal, and there are really good ways people can find better credit cards for themselves.
There are, and one thing to think about right now, if you're really focused on paying off debt this year, is a 0% balance transfer card. So this is an option to avoid those sky-high interest rates we were talking about. You have 0% interest rate versus 20%. That is a lot better. So there are some offers out there right now that will offer no interest up to 21 months. That's almost 2 years of no interest. Citi, Simplicity, Wells Fargo have these cards. What you do is you're going to transfer your current balance over to those cards. You're not going to pay interest for that time, but keep in mind, after 21 months, you are paying high interest. So you really got to use that as a way to set the clock. And you also, you will pay a small fee to do that transfer. Just one final thing to think about. Look at all your cards right now. If you're paying any annual fees, don't pay those fees. Call up the servicer, ask them to switch you to a no-fee card, and it is a lot better to switch to a no-fee card than it is to close your account, which can ding your credit.
That's right. And also, just make sure if you do that 0% transfer, it's not an incentive to spend more money. No. It's just keeping your interest in check.
Set the clock.
Elizabeth Schulze, as always.
Thank
you so much. Really appreciate it. Very helpful information. And we're going to see you tomorrow and talk strategies for creating a budget in 2025. That's something we could all use as well. Definitely. Lara, we need more of you and pop news.
Thank you. Get on over here because we're going to begin this morning with lots of news, starting with the entertainment industry reacting to the Los Angeles wildfires. Despite those fires still burning around the city, relief efforts are getting underway. SAG-AFTRA union just announcing they are now earmarking $1 million to their foundation to provide emergency relief. And over the weekend, our parent company, the Walt Disney Company, announced a $15 million commitment aimed at relief and rebuilding efforts. Disney's CEO Bob Iger releasing a statement saying, "We are proud to provide assistance to this resilient and vibrant community in this moment of need." Overnight, Beyonce also announcing a donation of $2.5 million to those in the Altadena fire zone. Her Be Good Foundation will also assist churches and community centers in other impacted areas to address the immediate needs of people affected by the fires. And Angelinos, guys, are showing up for each other in a big way. I wanted to share this video with everyone. That's an entire restaurant applauding firefighters who took a much-needed break in their efforts to grab a quick bite to eat, and the applause were relentless for them, thanking them for all they're doing around the clock.
When you see the humanity like that, people really coming out and helping
really
one
sharing,
another.
and we are also getting very involved in those relief efforts. We'll keep everybody posted. In other news, we want to switch gears to a little tennis. The 2025 season has officially hit the courts, with the Australian Open serving up some impressive first-round action. Reigning champ Aryna Sabalenka defeating Sloane Stephens in straight sets. The world number one has now taken 30 of her last 31 sets at Melbourne Park. Clearly it's vibing with her over there as she tries for her 3rd consecutive title. Sabalenka saying she's super happy to be back. She loves that place. Yeah, we can tell, girl.
Oh, yeah, go
She
girl.
celebrated
Go
by
girl.
leading the crowd in an on-court TikTok. She is feeling it, guys. And Americans are already making waves down under. The top U.S. player Coco Gauff taking home a first-round win. Same with Jessica Pegula. She won in straight sets. Go, Jess. Meanwhile, on the men's side, Francis Tiafoe won his opening match after an intense 4 hours on the court. That's hard. And U.S. Open champion Jannik Sinner won in straight sets. But, guys, we cannot forget the 10-time Aussie Open champion Novak Djokovic, hoping to extend his record to 25 majors. And this time he has a former rival at his side. Did you know Andy Murray is now part of his secret sauce, his coaching team? Djokovic won his first round match, and the first round does continue tonight, 11:30 Eastern. If you can't sleep, turn on ESPN2. We're there for you. And then finally this morning, we've been teasing it all day long. Who wants to meet Poppy? We have a very special pop-in from the Pygmy Hippo. She's joining us live from Metro Richmond Zoo in Virginia. She just turned 1 month old. She's been going wildly viral on social media. There she is.
Oh, hi, Poppy.
With her adorable antics. The zoo held a fan vote to decide on her name. 100,000 people weighed in. They decided a flower like her mom, who's named after a different flower. She's Iris. Right now, we want to chat with Metro Richmond Zoo Director Jim Andelin. He is with Poppy and Iris in this GMA exclusive. Good morning to all 3 of you. Jim, we'll start with you. Oh, a big yawn. Poppy, am I boring you? Or are you hungry? Jim, tell us a little bit about the announcement that you want to share with our GMA viewers.
Well, you know, after Poppy was born just before Christmas, she has garnered millions of fans throughout the world, and so we've got Iris. She's coming out of the pool here. You want to put the ladder there? Anyway, she's garnered all these fans throughout the world, and not only in the Richmond area, but throughout all over. And we are announcing that people can't get enough Poppy, and so we're going to have a live cam running from 9 to 5 each day. And so people can view Mom, Iris, and Poppy here in their pool. And not only will this cam show the live view, but it'll show educational things so people can learn about these amazing animals. And it'll also show the latest Poppy posts, which are the popular ones, which are amazing.
Oh, look at them. That beautiful glimmering skin. Thank you so much. Also, talk about the conservation efforts. You guys have done such a terrific job. Thank you for sharing that exclusive announcement. I know I'll be tuning in, and I would imagine so will the world. Everybody just loves Poppy. Sir, thank you for your time.
Oh, yes, and we're excited, and Poppy will be excited to share her next adventures.
Yes. Bye, Poppy.
I'm so excited.
Poppy.
She's a little tired this morning.
Yeah.
She's sleeping in the
Well, do you know what?
corner
It's not easy being a movie star.
No.
You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, you can
Gotta-
catch Poppy and her mom on their live stream. You heard it here first. The Metro Richmond Zoo, their website every day, George.
Thank you, Lil. Time now for As Seen on Social, highlighting the products blowing up on social media. Lori Bergamatto is here with great hobby ideas, and this is all the rage on TikTok.
It is, Robin, and it's so much fun. I have 2 right there for you. We've got some modeling clay, some air dry clay. This comes with 36 different colors, and it brings you back to childhood, right? It's a sensory engagement. You can be super creative. You can see our great team here made this adorable little piggy, and then you can pick up that rose over there with the air dry clay. Feel how substantial that dries.
Yes.
You can make anything, jewelry holders, toothbrush holders, pen case holders, whatever. And this is all really affordable, under $17.
Somebody made that on our crew?
Yes, Monica.
Very impressive.
Good.
Okay, this is lighting up social as well.
I see what you did there. We're gonna spark your creativity, Robin, with Sculpt. So this is a candle making kit. Obviously everybody loves candles. What people really love about this is that you can customize it. So you can personalize different scents. You can have so much fun with the entire candle making process, from the vessel to pouring the wax in. Everything from soup to nuts Really great, really fun, and this is one of those things that everybody is loving through this cold winter season. You want a cozy, warm candle. So we love that from Sculpt.
Okay, what's this?
Okay, I am really excited about this one. This is from Stitched Stories. Do you know how to embroider?
No, I don't.
I do not
I
either,
don't
but let me tell you something. They have made it so easy and so seamless. I'm really into this one. So when you order this packet, you get the entire thing. You get the hoop, you get the fabric, the needle, and this one is a little bit easier because you're not dealing with like thread counts, you're not dealing with transfer fabrics. All you're doing is taking your needle that comes with the kit and you're pressing it onto each color. So you're just matching color to color. It's really easy. And they have really fun little sayings. This one is my favorite: start each day with a grateful heart and some coffee. I mean, if that's not the GMA motto, I don't know what is. So that's a small business. We love Stitched Stories.
Because it's creative and relaxing at the same time.
Exactly. And you know what, Robin? Studies show that people who have those kind of hobbies have happier lives and a more satisfying life.
Yeah.
So, and to that end, crocheting. I didn't know how to do this, but I am hooked on
I've heard
the
about
rubles.
this. I've heard about this.
You guys, this is the one. Over 500,000 people are obsessed with the Woobles. It comes with everything here, and you can make really fun things. We have like little Pierre the penguin in the front. And Robin, what people really liked about this as well, and I think what a lot of these hobbies do, it creates a sense of community. So the way that you learn how to do this, it comes with a little instruction booklet, but then you can scan a code, and then you go online, and there's an entire community of people who are doing the same thing, learning along with you. So you don't have that sense of isolation or, oh, I'm frustrated. Everyone shares that with you. And you get these cute little guys all in the process.
My morning producer, Katie King, she does.
Love me some Katie King.
She loves this.
And she loves the Wooble. Well, we know where these are going.
Okay. The QR code on your screen takes you right to the products. Coming up, Brooke Shields is here live. Come on back, folks.
Welcome back to GMA, live from Times Square.
And we are back with our friend Brooke Shields, the actress, model, New York Times best-selling author, set to release her fourth book. It's called Brooke Shields is Not Allowed to Get Old. Welcome back. Great to see you.
Thank you. I can't believe how lucky I am to be with all of you. I love this.
So good to see you. You say it's not a typical memoir. So what is it?
So first of all, the reason why I was approached to do it is because I started my own company called Commence, which is for women over 40. We start with hair care, but it's a community. So I was going through the machinations of becoming a CEO in my late 50s, and my agent said, well, why don't you talk about that? Because it's amazing. And then my first thought was, why does it have to be so shocking that a woman over 40 can accomplish something? Whoa, you don't have one foot in the grave. And so I started thinking about it. I said, it's not interesting enough for me to just more Brooke, thank you for the doc. There's a lot of me out there and enough already. And so I said, if I can combine it with actual research, things like when a woman comes into her confidence in a different way, what happens hormonally, we're not just menopause, all these things. And I said, if we can make it interesting and there can be a lot of research, plus funny stories about my being self-deprecating, that my knees are like down to my ankles.
The humor that you always have. Well, you alluded to the highly acclaimed documentary, Pretty Baby, that was George and Allie's baby. Pretty Baby. That was their baby. But that was a look back. I love the season that you're in. I said that when I saw you. And this is more about the present and the future, not so much looking back.
And I think that it's important to do that in this era of a woman's life. The beauty industry wants us to chase youth. We look at regrets, what if, and I think it's important to understand where you've been. Sure. But I think it's really joyous to say, I may not know where I'm going, but I'm here. This is a different age than it used to be. The opportunities are different, and I want to look my best, and I want to be healthy. And again, I always say, I wish everything was a little higher and tighter. I look at my gorgeous baby girls, and they're all just buoyant. But by the same token, I earned everything that I have on my face. That I earned them. And I think it's important to be pat yourself on the back and say, what do you want to do now? You're no longer tied by biology in the same way. Opportunities are more open to women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I mean, the millennials are all turning 40.
Right.
It's about 1/4 of all Americans. And only 1/4 of all the advertising that's out there even has a woman over 60. Wow. And you just think we're formidable and fabulous.
Right.
Maybe we're a little scary because we're almost too much.
Age is just a number. It's so cliche, but really never has that been more true. I mean, like 60 today is not 60 of yesteryear. We're young, we're vibrant, and your book is all about that.
And we're not angry. You know, I think the reason why I wanted the title is funny because we imprint on people and we want them to stay. And I was doing a live Instagram live the other day, and one of the comments was, "I really wish you looked the way you used to."
Oh my God!
Like, really?
Oh my God! See, that's why you don't read.
Well, no, I had to answer
you
them.
Don't read that was
no, they're flouting by, and you're supposed to address them, right?
Wow.
And then the next time someone said, "Well, where's your mother?" I was like, "Dead." She is dead.
No.
But it was like I thought, boy, we're all so out of touch. We need to find joy in this.
Do you feel, what I'm curious about is, because you cover so many areas and your daughters are incredible, is there anything that scares you still at this point? Any areas you wouldn't go at this point?
No, I couldn't. I would be very disingenuous if I didn't come to share my truth. Do you know what I mean? Because yes, everybody's going to want to, talk about my Netherlands again because there's a there's a chapter about them. But it was a way of sort of talking about the healthcare system. I love making him laugh. To me, to make him laugh is like it's such a gift.
And I was just like,
It must feel the same way it feels at home, George. You're always the odd man out.
You kind of have to say, like, women go through stuff. We need to be able to say this isn't fair. We need to be able to self-advocate.
Yeah.
We need,
and the community to know we're not alone in it.
Yeah, I had a seizure not too long ago, and the two male doctors kept saying, "Are you restricting your salt for dietary reasons?"
Whoa.
And I was like, "No." And I said this, I said, "I'm a 59-year-old woman who looks younger, bloated." No.
Yeah.
Give me some potato chips. I was like, you wouldn't say that to a man.
Never.
Right.
Never.
And I hate it. I don't want to, that's not what the book is. It's not reducing it to male, female. We love the men in our lives. But it really is, it's just time to kind of explore this without yelling, without being angry. I tell my girls.
It's so smart. It's so well written. Yeah, go tell us what you tell your girls.
We talk about this with Allie all the time, is that, we don't have to yell louder. We just have to be secure in what we believe and what we need to have be heard, because we're not going to get anywhere by just screaming it.
Right.
So I think that, my girls love my relationship with your wife. Your girls love it. We're modeling female friendships that are based on lifting each other up, laughing, being there in the good times and the bad times, but just sort of saying like, hey, we're pretty lucky to be here.
You do. You talk a lot about friendships, and I was going to segue, and it seems like a perfect time because it's Allie's birthday, and you guys have such a beautiful friendship. What are you most proud of about that particular bond, and how was last night?
I didn't think. Oh, you didn't get your invite.
No, I didn't. I was celebrating you. I love your friendship.
No, to be in my later years and to meet someone said, how long have you guys known each other? Because we have a banter. But she makes everything more special. But to meet someone in your later years when you're going, oh, that's not my high school clique, that's not my this work friends, those aren't my, and it's not defined. I remember saying to someone, I don't know her long enough for how I feel about her.
Wow.
But it's amazing to find that in your 50s.
Yeah.
Because I'm different. And it's a different friendship. Okay. And you looked around that room last night, and everybody was from different eras, and nobody was trying to one up the next one. We were all just like, wow, when did you meet? How did this happen? And who she is brought together this very beautiful, great group of fabulous women. Couldn't be more different, but it was really nice. It's that to me is the most, and being okay with relationships changing, spousal relationships, partners, your friendships change, and you have to be willing to be okay with it and move through it. you know, maybe I don't have the same relationship with that high school friend that I did. Does that make it any more invalid? No. But, you know, people get uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
So.
You kept it real.
You did.
You were just beaming over there as she's talking about Allie. I love that.
It's all true. It's all true.
No, it's so well written. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So happy
Brooke
for you,
Shields is not allowed to get Old Hits bookshelves tomorrow. You can pre-order it right now. Look at that QR code on the bottom of your screen.
Just look at me adoringly. I know that you were just told to look at me over here. Yeah, they left that part out.
Yeah.
They're back. Rashad Bilal and Troy Millings, founders of Earn Your Leisure. Their platforms. They have a new book out. It is brilliant. It's called You Deserve to Be Rich. Master the inner game of wealth and claim your future. So glad to have you back. Happy New Year to you both.
Happy New Year. Happy to be here.
Millions look to you all for assistance when it comes to finance and money. Why is this the right time now for the book?
Well, you know, we've been in existence for over 6 years now, and we have thousands of hours of content on YouTube and social media, podcast outlets, and it can become hard for people that just want to kind of know where to start.
Yeah,
so we wanted to concise it, you know, have an encyclopedia, talk about real estate, talk about stocks, talk about business, talk about all the things that we've championed for over the course of the last 5-6 years, but have it in a book format so people can go to it and have it as a reference point to navigate life.
Because people have been asking, when's the book coming out?
Exactly,
when's the book coming out like that?
Yeah.
Hey, it's the start of the new year, and people want to get their finances off on the right start. So what is your formula for an annual budget?
Yeah,
How should it break down?
We want to make sure that we have a plan, because if we don't, we're going to fail. All right, so we always created a plan out of the 100% of the money that we bring in. The first thing we want to do is have 55% of it going to spending, and not just frivolous spending. We're talking about your life necessities, your bills, your mortgage. These things add up over time, and we know that we have to allocate money for that. The next biggest piece is investing. This is the only way to build wealth, right? We know that we can work hard, but that's not going to get us there. So we want to make sure we invest 20% of the income. The next thing is saving, right? 15% of it needs to go to that, because there's always going to be an emergency. Somebody's going to need something. You might fall into a pitfall. You want to make sure that you have reserves. And last, 10% is always going to go to charitable. We're big on giving back, and so if that's part of our fundamentals, we want to make sure that people have it as well.
And again, you really just broke it down, and I really appreciated how you talked about generational wealth, building generational wealth. So let's help some folks this morning, okay? Because different times in your life, different seasons in your life, there are different strategies. So if somebody is in their 20s, what is the one thing they can do this year?
Well, they should definitely try to clean up their credit and pay off debt. That's important. So the snowball method is a strategy where you pay off smaller credit cards first and then use that money to pay off the larger amounts. So definitely that, and then also start to invest in the 401k and start to invest in the stock market in general.
And I love how you really break down, because not all 401ks are alike. And in the book, you break down what could work best for you. All right. 20s and 30s. Well, let's go 30s and 40s now. You've got a young family. So what's the strategy there?
Young families are important. So now you're preparing for your future. So life insurance is something that you definitely want to make sure that you're looking into. You want to make sure that these policies are updated over time, because now you have children, you have a wife, you want to make sure your beneficiaries are updated. Next thing you want to do is make sure that you start planning for your future. College funds are important, 529 plans, and UTMA funds, right? UTMA accounts are important because instead of your kids asking for money at 18, you can invest in the wealthiest companies in the world, and at 18, they'll have their own money.
Yeah, right. I remember when my dad, when I said, Daddy, can I have, or as opposed to can you loan? If I said loan, that meant I had to give it back. Yeah, so there is a difference there. Sure. For those that are heading toward their retirement years, what is the strategy there?
You want to make sure your estate plan is in order. So your will, your trust, your beneficiaries are up to date. And you also want to look at annuities, because at this point in time, you're going to start taking money from your retirement accounts. So you want a secure, guaranteed investment, and annuities can provide that for you. So now you're kind of on the downward trajectory on the mountain. Everybody can make it up the mountain, but getting down is the most important aspect.
Yeah, and I'm not, because I'm approaching that time in my life and can be more conservative as far as some of the investments and that. What is the biggest mistake?
I think the biggest mistake is that people invest in things they're not educated in. And so FOMO is a real thing in life, but it's also a real thing in finance. People will see words, Bitcoin, they'll hear about stocks, and they'll try to invest them on the way up, not really being educated in it, and that can cost you a lot.
And what's your final word to say to people who are going, okay, it's the start of the new year, I'm going to get this book, I deserve, and I love how Earn Your Leisure, and what you mean by that, and how people can attain that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to start. I think that's the the hardest part for people. Everybody puts together a plan for New Year. I want to lose weight. I want to become financially free. And then 2 weeks into it, that plan gets abandoned. So, break it down into small steps. Don't be discouraged. Start. If it's $100 a month that you're saving, that's good. Work on that. If you're trying to pay off one credit card, work on that. If your goal is to have a will by February, work on that. But the most important thing is not to get discouraged and to start.
Yeah, the secret to getting ahead is just getting started.
Yes.
It's just getting started. Gentlemen, I said we were going to have you back, and I'm so glad that we did. And congratulations on just the impact that you're making in so many lives. Could you have ever imagined this when you started this 6 years ago?
I couldn't imagine it, but I'm so happy that we're here and we're, changing so many lives at the same time.
Yeah, because you're doing it the right way.
Absolutely.
With heart. All right. You Deserve to Be Rich is out tomorrow. Thank you again, guys. You didn't even put your pictures on. I mean, you're good looking, didn't even put your pictures on the cover like that. It's all about the people, all about the people.
Humility.
Yeah, we all know the song, I Will Survive. Coming up, we have singer Gloria Gaynor's story as you have never seen before. Woo, we'll be right back and tell you all about it.
You know that music, and that is because Robin has something very special coming up.
Thank you. The song I Will Survive. Ooh, it has been an anthem for generations. The voice bringing us that song, unmistakable, Miss Gloria Gaynor. Now, what you don't know about Gloria herself, my company, Rockin' Robin Productions, is bringing you her story as you've never seen or heard before. Here's a GMA first look at the trailer for I Will Survive, the Gloria Gaynor story.
First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side.
Well, disco is good feelings. Lyrics that uplift people and make them feel seen, make them feel determined. It's not easy, especially for a woman. Things with the band are bad.
Been working nonstop.
You need to slow down. I want to rebuild my career. I'd like to introduce myself. I am Gloria. I will survive.
Robin Roberts presents I Will Survive, the Gloria Gaynor story. Premieres Saturday, February 8th at 8. Part of Voices of a Lifetime.
I have to say I spent time with the cast and crew, poured their heart and soul into this. I'm going to show you much more from the movie as we get closer to the premiere on February 8th. And Gloria and Joaquina, who is a Tony winner, who plays Gloria, they're going to be here live on Wednesday, January 29th. And Gloria Gaynor, an original song. In the movie, original song that she wrote just for the movie at the end.
Robin,
if I'd
special.
known, she is special and worthy of this kind of recognition. So glad we're going to share that with everybody. Yeah. Thank y'all very much.
We'll be right back. I will survive, baby.
We have been waiting all morning to celebrate a special person on a special day. Happy birthday, Ginger!
Thank you. Look at it. I'm so lucky.
Your favorite girl.
Thank you so much. I'm so fortunate that I get to make it to today. You know?
Well, we're so happy to celebrate you, and we knew you didn't even need a fork. Just take the whole cake and enjoy it.
Bring that home to the boys.
Oh, it's heavy.